Hi, how are you? This is actually a very genuine question. I just want to know how you're faring and how you are keeping on in this hard time, especially as an immigrant living in the UK, more especially as nurses. How are you, healthcare workers in general? Please let me know how you're feeling, how it is in your end under the comment section. I would love to hear and I would love to read from you. But the purpose of this video is one to check in on you and see how you're doing because I can understand how much you feel. I am a foreigner myself, and living in Australia doesn't just exclude me. I have lived in the UK for 4 years, and I've had my fair share of racism and all that. But this has never happened to my own knowledge, like during my time, and I still feel so much pain and fear, and I just feel so sad that it is happening in 2024, and I thought I would check in on you and just give you some piece of my own advice. I don't know if I'll call it advice, but I just want to talk so you can hear me and tell me what you think as well. Firstly, I hope this comes to an end pretty soon because it's not just a very good situation to we find ourselves. It's not just good at all. I just want to pop in here to give some tips. Firstly, please, whilst the whole thing is going on, like the riots, the whole chaos happening currently in the UK, and you find yourself going into work, please keep it professional. I know we are humans before we are professionals, but please, especially as nurses, because we are almost the first person. I mean, aside paramedics, when it comes to emergency room, the ward, or any other setting, we are almost the first person the patient will see. Please keep it professional. Keep whatever is happening outside the hospital. Okay, we are professionals and we have to remember that we worked hard for our registration, we worked hard for our licenses. I don't think this whole protest or this whole issue is worth risking our license for. So please, even if you're hurt by whatever somebody outside has said to you, if you're in hospital, if you're at work, please keep it professional. Secondly, please protect yourself. You come first, okay? Even if they say, oh, patient first, patient first. When we were taught basic life support, CPR, and all that, we were taught to secure the scene and make sure the scene is safe. Like, check the scene for safety, right? So this is the same thing I want you to do. Make sure that the scene is safe before you try to carry out your duty, because if you're not safe, you can't carry out your duty. If you're being confronted by anyone and you feel your safety is at risk, please try to calm things down. If it's not possible, just call in someone senior to help out and speak up, okay? Because at the end of the day, you are all you got. Even if it feels like it's not your country, it will never be your country. Even if you're a citizen of the country, it will never be your country. But you are all you got. You have to speak up for yourself. And luckily, there are workplace procedures for all these things. If you feel you're being bullied, you're being attacked by racists, even verbally or physically, you shouldn't subject yourself to that just because you are doing your job. And whilst yes, you are being professional about it, you can always speak up. And I saw on the internet where the health secretary has said that nurses or healthcare workers in general can refuse to give patient care if they are being racially abused. Whilst that is a good thing, and that's what has been in my previous hospitals that I've worked in the UK, I want you to know that it is a very dicey situation. Okay, so yes, you have that right, but please be careful on how you refuse care to patients. They deserve all the care they can get, but always make sure that you try your best and ignore as much as you can, but also report what you can report. I don't know, it's hard to tell you, but I know you understand what I mean. Yes, if you are in a situation where you work in a mental health setting and somebody has dementia and calls you, use the N words on you, use the black word on you, use most racial slurs on you. One, you already have done your mental health assessment and you know that that person doesn't have mental capacity. Even though they are still being racist, you can't refuse care because then you would be at fault, okay? And also in life-threatening situation, if someone use those words on you, please, as long as it is not physically endangering yourself, you can always give care and transfer care to another person when it is safe to do so. So whilst that's in place, please also apply wisdom in refusing care or in like responses to these situations, because they can use it against you. And remember, you work hard for your pain as well, so please protect it. I also like to say you can start journaling what you feel like. It's also a way I used to debrief whenever I face a very difficult day at work, I like to like write down what happened and debrief with myself. If I want to speak to someone, I speak to someone, but most of the time I just do it on my own because I feel like it helps me to keep track on what has happened. And if peradventure there is a need for going to court or something happens, I have data to show that this has been happening recurrently. I'd also like to state that if you don't have any union, please no, don't ever work without a union. You need a union for legal cases like this that will happen, okay? So yes, please join a union. There's Unison, there's RCN. Please do that, okay? It will help you with your whole career, not even only at this stage, but if you run into trouble, you definitely need a union. And I'll also say you can take a day or two off if you feel like the whole pressure on the internet and the whole trauma is getting to you. Take a day off. There's something called well-being day off. You can take 6 days off. I mean, to be honest, I saw a news of where 2 Filipino nurses were attacked while going to give care to patients, and I'm just like, those 2 Filipino nurses that were attacked, they have the right to call in sick the next day because you're not mentally ready to take care of people again. Like, I'm even here and I'm like, how? Take those days off to yourself, take care of yourself, and feel better again before you go in, because don't forget that once you clock in, they expect you to give the best care, and if you're not mentally ready, you can't give the best care. You're still putting yourself at risk. So yeah, take some days off if you need to debrief, make yourself feel happy, and go back in when you feel you are okay and ready to go back in. And also, I would like to state that more than ever, learn to have more skills, okay? And I'm saying this because I've had some emails, some messages from registered nurses working in the UK of how they feel being treated badly, not being supported, and being reported to managers because they're not doing this, they're not doing that. Listen, as much as possible, learn those skills that you need to learn in your field so that you don't get reported to in that manner. Because at the end of the day, when you know your stuff, it's hard for somebody to report to you. You know what I mean? Clinically, when you're very, very clinical sound, it's very hard for them to find fault. But when you are not ready to learn, you're just being nonchalant, everything they think they can report you for, they would report you for, okay? So please try as much as possible to learn your skills. More than ever, try to save as much as you can. See, I'm always a big advocate of move abroad and all that, but I'm also a big advocate of saving for rainy days. Look at times like this. If you have enough savings, you wouldn't be picking up extra shifts. This is not even the time for you to be picking up extra shifts. This is the time for you to work your contracted hours and go home and stay with your family and stay with your loved ones. But you can't tell this to someone who literally doesn't have any money to feed the next day or live paycheck to paycheck. And I know how hard the UK is, okay, but please, as much as possible, try to save. Have savings that you can easily call in sick, or you can easily not go to work and you won't even feel it. So if this hasn't taught you anything, please save, okay? And I would like to say that if your workplace is toxic, your managers are not supporting you, your work colleagues, they're all racist, and it is possible. It's possible for you to have racist managers. It's possible for you to have racist work colleagues. It's also possible for you to face racist patients. Please learn to start applying for new jobs. Our license is very important to us, and I've seen so many cases where somebody remained in a particular position with racist managers, racist colleagues, and they lost their pin. There's a particular video that is trending on TikTok of a man that his manager reported due to him he has a kind of illness, blah blah blah, where he was talking about his manager reported into NMC, and NMC is being unfair to him, and he's not worked for a long time, he's lost his mom, just a lot of things. And I'm like, look, I'm someone that if I faced racism in my first year of being in the UK, and I know I've shared this before, although I didn't go in detail, but I am someone that has faced it, and I can tell you I am not a perfect person, but for you to have issues with me at work, then there's just something wrong with you. Because I'm someone that will, before I even find fault in something you've done, you've probably done this 2, 3, 4 times before I'll ever say something back to you. Okay, if you do it the first time, I'll just leave it. Second time I might, but the third time I would definitely speak up, because I'm like, this is it. And if it keeps reoccurring, I will not even wait for it to explode that much. I will just apply for a new job and I will leave. So that is something you should put at your back of your mind. Never you tolerate any form of racism that you know very well will put your pain at risk, your registration at risk. Okay, so definitely look for new jobs. I've always said this for nurses, it's going to be very hard for you to say there are no jobs. You will always be employable. And that brings me to another point. Learn new skills, learn new specialties. Look, I am someone that has worked in aged care, I've worked in medical ward, I've worked in surgical wards, I've worked in anesthetics, I've worked in recovery. I now have like diverse skills that I can work most part of any hospital. You see, when they say they need an aged care nurse, I'm here. They say they need anesthetic nurse, I'm here. They say I'm here. So as nurses, please learn to get new specialties under your belt just for the experience, and it widens your opportunities. If you are a nurse and the only thing you know is oncology, that's the only place they can ever employ you to. It's going to be hard for you to get a job. And as much as possible, if you find joy in that specialty, please stay. There's no point moving. But I'm just telling you the benefits of having more skills, more specialties under your belt. I can decide to work any part of my field now. I have a broader scope now, and I can work in most part of those fields. I'm not stuck to anesthetics. I'm not stuck to where I am now. Okay, so as nurses, please try to get new skills, learn new specialties, and that's another benefit of being an agency nurse as well. That helps you build your confidence in other areas that are not just your particular ward. Aside the money that it helps, it also helps you just build your confidence. Okay, so please consider that as well. And another point I would like to raise is that please, if you have to sit for NCLEX, sit for NCLEX. If you have to start your registration with New Zealand, start your new registration. If you have to start your registration with Australia, start your registration. Don't get stuck in one country. You've all seen how it's been. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, I know and I pray that this comes to an end and we start going back to our normal lives back in the UK. However, please, this should teach all of us to never put all our eggs in one basket. I know it's expensive, I know it is time consuming, but have more options. Sit for the exams, do new registration with other countries so that you have somewhere else to go if anything turns out. I hope things don't get bad as it is, but just let your license work for you so that you have more chances of just picking yourself up and leave. Because at the end of the day, you need to value yourself. We left home for a good reason, okay? We shouldn't now leave home and go somewhere else and still live a terrible life, or still live a life full of fear, still live a life that we can't even do something without looking at our back. So what is the essence of leaving our family if we can't get a good place to live in? There's no point, because the reason why we left home was for comfort, and if a particular place or a particular country is not serving us again, then it's just time for us to look for something else. I love the UK so much, and as much as there's racism going on now, I'll still say I've met one of the best nurses, the best patients, one of the best community with the British people. I love them. I'll say I've met more nice people than the racist people or the bad people in the UK. If all the people I've met, 95% are good and 5%, and I wouldn't let the 5% make me hate the whole country or make me not love the people. I love the UK and it will always be home for me, even if it's not going to be home for me. But I send my love, I send my hugs to everyone out there going to work in the night, late night. Hopefully everything comes back to normal and we start living our normal life. My DM is open on Instagram. My email is open if you just feel like talking to someone regarding what's happening, how you feel. And I hope you all are safe out there, and avoid going out right now if it's not 100% necessary, if it's not work, if it's not going to buy groceries. Order your groceries online right now. Just protect yourself and don't argue. If anyone, even if someone is insulting you, just don't argue. Just choose peace. You don't even know what the next person's mind is. You don't even know if there are other people waiting for them to just attack you. It's just so sad and so hard right now. So please protect yourself, and I'll see you guys later. Hopefully everything dies down so we can go back to our normal life. Okay, I love you all and stay safe. Okay, bye.